Skip Bayless like to use the term ahead of the curve. Skip Bayless, who ahead of the curve? Now, my sources, and I take them to the bank. They're very reliable. Yes, sir. If they tell me grass will turn to cheese, I'm gonna quit everything I'm doing and start hustling crowds. Yeah. Told me they were unwilling to give a hometown discount. Now, I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm just saying, Skip. Like I said, my bank, Skip Bayless said he got a bank. He said he gonna take that to his bank. So when they said this, I said I'm gonna take that to my bank. That Dak Prescott was unwilling to give Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, and the Dallas Cowboys a hometown discount. Now, they sold this early. They got up at the combine and said, yeah, we want to work with Dak, we want to get something done, but we need Dak to work with us. You know, it's like you go into a store, hey, work with me now. I want to get this. You know, you go buy a car, Skip. Now work with me now. Work with you. But, you know, wait a minute. You want the car now. Some stores, some car dealers will work with you. You go there and try to get a Ferrari, Lambo, they ain't working nothing. They said, well, we're going to work with you, we're going to deliver it to you. That's all we got for you. But if you think you're getting a discount, you're not. Skip, you see, and I said this, I said, Skip, if Kellen Moore comes back as offensive coordinator, they don't change anything. The only reason this is taking place is because Dak Prescott is not showing up without a new contract. You don't want to install a new system, have that guy show up at training camp and says, okay, let's go win a title. Keep this offense intact. Dak has heard this verbiage. He knows it. He can pick right up. Jerry and Steven, I believe, were anticipating that. Say, Mike, we need to keep Kellen on staff. Let him call the plays. Let him use this terminology because this thing is getting a little contentious. So, for me, I don't know how you feel about this. I'm starting to feel a little Kirk Cut. It started feeling me, Skip. It feel like that to you too? Because they said they backed against it. We like you, Dak, but we don't really truly believe it. And I told you, franchise tags make enemies. Because Steve and Jerry keep saying, we got our guy, he's a franchise guy. Dak Prescott said, or Shannon Sharp said on Undisputed, he see better than he hear. Yeah. But he looking at he got no contract. So how you keep saying I'm a franchise guy and I'm not? But he also sees Skip Bayless. He said, Jerry, you in 2013, you made Tony Romo the highest play. Now after Joe Flacco won the Super Bowl and got $52 million guaranteed, you gave Tony Romo $55 guaranteed. 6 years, $108 million. Without batting an eye.
True, good point.
And Jerry says, you know why? Because I believe in him. He ain't say that. But see, when you put that money down, Skip, they say, I believe in. They don't believe in that, Skip. They don't. I get everything I want. I'm getting everything I want. This thing lined up perfect for me, Skip.
Well, time out. Speaking of not believing in Dak, you are the ultimate not believing in Dak. You give him an F for every game. So why would you want him to get his money? You really don't.
I do.
You don't believe he deserves it. You do not believe he's earned it or will continue to live up to it.
I believe Dak Prescott is as good as Jared Goff, but he got his money. So if you're trying to tell me it's
you got a point there.
That's what I'm saying. Dak Prescott's as good as Jimmy G.
Stop it. Now, you know the going rate for quarterbacks. You tell me it's the most valuable position. You tell me Dak is the leader. You told me he's the unquestioned leader. What's that for? That's for something, isn't it?
Something, isn't it?
So, my turn.
Okay, let's listen to Skip for a second. Skip.
Making my head hurt. This is getting worse by the day. I don't like where this is heading because it's heading down the wrong path. It's heading toward a path to destruction, to ruin.
Yep.
And what's making me sickest today is Shannon Sharp's having a great day because he made a slick, can't lose Super Bowl pick. He flipped to the 49ers so that he could say if the 49ers won, I told you so. But if Mahomes won, he could say, I told you so, he's my homeboy.
At least we see what he's doing.
It's a little reverse psychology, a little bit.
So I've never flipped Skip. He's either way Shay. Either way Shay. And either way's got it going because now he's even got either way Shay going on Dak because he could say, he's no good. I give him an F. What are you guys thinking with him? And in the next breath, he can say, you better give him his money because you want him to break the salary cap.
No, Skip. You tell me all the time, Jerry is a businessman. When I told you, I was like, Skip, How's he gonna sign Zeke and Amari and Jay and all these guys? You like Jerry can figure it out. Okay, we'll figure it out.
Well, it's interesting what you just said. Without blinking an eye, he gave Tony Romo, boom, big deal.
6 years, 108, 55 guaranteed.
There you go. I believe he's offering a similar contract to Dak Prescott. But the problem here is your source. That's what I believe. The
Your source. Okay.
That ain't going
Here's the
nowhere.
problem. That's just me. That's just what I think.
What do you think?
I don't know Todd France. I'm sure he's a great agent.
Why you mention that man as a
I
negative
don't know.
light? You mentioned him in a negative
No, I
light.
didn't. I don't know him from Todd England or Todd Denmark or Todd Ethiopia. I don't know him. But I'm sure he's great. He has a great reputation.
Yes.
He represents a lot of big-time Aaron Donalds and DeAndre Hopkins, okay? But it's starting to feel like that they are asking for something that Jerry Jones just flat out thinks is unrealistic and unhealthy long-term for his football team. As much as I believe with all my heart and soul, Jerry Jones loves Dak Prescott, I believe he believes in Dak. But there comes a time when the guy in charge has to say, well, that's just crazy.
Okay, well, let it go.
Well, at some point you have to figure out how to massage them.
Well, hello, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo and Joe Bear in the house here. We are still here in Miami, buttoning up everything and getting everything put away and starting a new season. And today, friends, today is the beginning of the 2020 season. It's day number 1 of the offseason. I got to get back to the man cave and figure out what's what and who's who and how many days before next year starts. But you can best believe that everything is already in motion happening with the NFL because, guys, by the 10th of March, the Dallas Cowboys, along with the other 31 teams, have to decide who is going to be tagged or franchise tagged or transition tagged by then. Free agency starts March 8th. We are only a month and a half away from the league year beginning. Seriously, there really is no offseason. Right now, players, unless they're DeMarcus Lawrence, are getting their bodies in shape, getting surgeries done, so that way they'll be ready to start working out in OTAs and things. And here we are with the Dallas Cowboys trying to figure out if, in fact, they're going to sign Dak Prescott, get that deal done, or not get it done. Now, I got to tell you, you all know I am a Dak Prescott fan. Always have been. After I saw him in the Senior Bowl, I literally said, this is the guy for the Dallas Cowboys. Got it on tape. I got it on tape for anybody who says that I'm a liar. But I've always believed in him, so I am very pro Dak Prescott. But as I look at this stuff, somebody had commented earlier, shout out to everybody who's here. I see Cowboys up north. Hey, Cowboys up north. What size are you? What size are you? You didn't tell me what size. Chris Miller, shout out to you. Thank you for that super chat. I appreciate it. I got you a hat. I hope a hat's okay. Are you good with the hat? We're going to go back tomorrow morning to the NFL store because they're actually bringing all the stuff back to the convention center, and they got deep discounts. So we ended up picking up some gear and things that we're going to do for giveaways. I got some hats. I'm not sure exactly what the hell. It's a plush toy. I don't know what it is. It's a Cowboy. All I can tell you is it's a Dallas Cowboys. So I got 2 of these. So we're going to be giving some of this stuff away. I know most Cowboy fans aren't interested in the Super Bowl because, well, let's face it, we haven't been there in 25 years. But this whole thing with Dak Prescott is following along with everything that happens with the Dallas Cowboys when it comes to contracts. I don't know why the Dallas Cowboys are so damn dysfunctional when it comes to paying people. And this is not new. It's not new. With Emmitt Smith, okay? You won the Super Bowl and everything else, and you didn't want to pay him. You end up waiting and letting him hold out, and it almost screws the season. Thank God Charles Haley was in the locker room putting his fist through lockers and scaring the bejeebs out of everybody. Because Jerry Jones always thinks he's the smartest man in the room. And sometimes that guy that thinks he's the smartest man in the room is a freaking idiot. You know, as you heard, Skill, talking about that Jerry Jones doesn't believe in Dak Prescott. Well, who knows what Jerry believes? Because he believed that Jason Garrett was the right guy for the job. Right? Maybe Jerry Jones needs to go opposite of what he believed. He believed that Johnny Manziel was going to be the quarterback. And I keep hearing people say, you know what, offer him $20 million. And if he balks, let him walk. You are about the dumbest people in the world because you all think that quarterbacks. Oh, Mike Mickley? Oh, dude. You know what? I got something for you, buddy. I got something for you. Because we're going to do that right now. It's telling me to stop comparing. I'm going to let you know now. I'm going to let you know right now, when you come in here tonight, I am fired up. I am fired up and I'm going to call bullshit on anybody. I'm tired of it. I'm sick and tired of it. Because see, buddy, right here, you keep saying, don't compare Dak to other quarterbacks. Why? Tell me why. Because see, you hear too much bull crap from these talking heads that are out there. Because they do these things to try and manipulate the narrative to fit their story. You know, like before last season, they would say, you know, Carson Wentz has better numbers than Dak Prescott. And then real small print, if you don't count the rookie season. And they come up with terms and they use them as derogatory for Dak Prescott that they don't use for anybody else. Remember when he was dink and dunk Dak and everybody, oh my God, Dak Prescott, he's dink and dunk. Have they talked about anybody being a dink and dunker this year? Anybody? Anybody? Have they talked about any? That term got retired after Dak Prescott, didn't it? Because see, Dak Prescott, of all these quarterbacks that are paid over $30 million, this is the list right here. Russell Wilson at 35. Big Ben, 34. Aaron Rodgers, 33.5. Jared Goff, 33.5. Carson Wentz, 32. Matty Ice, 30. Okay? So when you tell me don't compare Dak Prescott to these guys, why shouldn't I? Because when I look at this list, when I look at what was accomplished on this field, none of these guys won the Super Bowl this year, did they? Did any of these guys? Because we hear, well, you know, a franchise quarterback puts the team on his back and wills them to win. Well, how come these guys were in the Super Bowl? How come they didn't go home with the ring, if that's the narrative? Right? Because I look at this, Dak had 30 TDs. Jared Goff, who we talked about at 33, had 22. To go with 16 interceptions. So you're telling me don't talk about Dak Prescott? Okay. How about Carson Wentz? He had 27 with 7 interceptions. Aaron Rodgers, the bad man, he only had 26 with 4 interceptions and 4,000 yards. Matty Ice with Julio Jones, 26 and 14 interceptions. Matty Ice had 14 interceptions. So you're telling me that my quarterback had more yards, more touchdowns, less interceptions, a yard more per completion, 2 yards more per play. And I can't talk about him with that guy? Get the hell out of here. Just leave. Just leave. I'm not taking bull crap tonight. And here's the thing. If you're coming into my house from here on out, we're changing this stuff up. I'm sick and tired of people being idiots when it comes to talking about my quarterback. Because when I look at this list, Russell Wilson has 31 TDs. Dak is second with 30. When I look at this list, Dak leads it for 4,902 yards. The next closest one is Jared Goff, who had 16 interceptions, is 300 behind it. Everybody else is almost 1,000 yards below it. So how is it I can't talk about Dak Prescott with them? Tell me, please, please. I'm telling you, I'm feeling it tonight. I'm feeling it tonight because this show is dedicated to Miss Jackie, who is fed up with idiots out there. All right? Bring it. Come on, come on, come on. I'm fired up, man. I'm fired up. Come on. I'm looking for the dumbass comments of the night. Please bring them to me. All right? Now, if you want to go through and say, well, Dak Prescott, let's get rid of him. Okay, you want to get rid of him? Please tell me who you going to bring in. Are you going to go bring in Jameis Winston, who had 30 TDs and 30 interceptions? Is that your solution? I saw somebody say, "Oh man, if Dak wants too much money, let's go ahead and get Deshaun Watson." How is it you think that Deshaun Watson is going to take less money than Dak Prescott? Because what Deshaun Watson is doing right now is he's waiting for Pat Mahomes to get his deal done. And Pat Mahomes is waiting until the CBA is done because the salary cap is about to blow up. If the CBA is passed, guess what? That money is going to be retroactive to this year. The NFL is willing to change the compensation and give the NFLPA more money, a bigger piece of the pie. So at the moment, it's about $197 million. It might be $220 million. Now, I can understand for those who are worried about paying Dak Prescott, if the Dallas Cowboys had like $5 million in cap space. I can understand that, okay? But you paid DeMarcus Lawrence $20 million. You end up giving Zeke Elliott the biggest contract in history. How is it that you now have a guy who has done everything for your franchise, has gone to the mat for you, played through injuries, never complains about anything, even though he's treated differently than other quarterbacks? The shots that you've seen that guy taking would be 15-yard penalties for any other quarterback other than Dak Prescott. Let's be clear. In the playoffs, this was unnecessary roughness for Tom Brady. I have seen Dak Prescott hit out of bounds. I've seen guys that have thrown him, slammed him to the ground without even the back of an eye by the officials. He doesn't complain about it. He doesn't throw the coach under the bench. And this guy works his ass off in the offseason. Now, for some reason, some of you idiots out there believe that, let's just get rid of him. I've seen comments out there like, let's just draft another guy in the third or fourth round to replace him. Screw Dak. We can get somebody else, right? Well, guess what? I got a plan for you, too. We got another list. I've been doing my homework, because I don't come into my house not knowing about what I'm talking about. Okay? Let's just listen to the quarterbacks that have been drafted since the 2014 season. Okay? And you tell me, if we let Dak Prescott go, how many of these guys that you would be able to get in the draft in the third or fourth round? We'll start at 2014. Johnny Manziel was the first quarterback taken. Now, Jerry was in love with Johnny Manziel. Huh. Yeah. You think Johnny would do better with this team right now? Teddy Bridgewater, who was injured for 3 years, he actually resurrected his career a bit this year. But do you honestly believe that he's better than Dak Prescott? Derek Carr. Here's the new one that was going around, and this is about the dumbest thing that I've heard. Because one of the talking heads was out there talking about Derek Carr's contract. Maybe the Cowboys should trade for Derek Carr because Derek Carr's contract number is about $20 million this year. And instead of paying Dak a tag number of 27 plus or a contract extension, that might be a better solution. Do you believe that if Derek Carr had been on this team this year, that this team would have went to the Super Bowl? Because that has to be your argument right here. Because if you're saying, let's go cheap because the quarterback doesn't matter, that we'll get to the Super Bowl by saving about $7 million on the cap. Is that is your solution? Is that your solution? Because I don't see anything that Derek Carr is doing that is better than what Dak Prescott's doing. I just don't. Maybe I'm wrong, but you tell me, what has Derek Carr done in his career? Yeah, Jimmy G, who had a great defense this year that helped him a lot, and a great running game. I'm not sure that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be able to pass for 5,000 yards or anything, but I'll give you that one. And then there was Logan Thomas. Who? Okay. So that was the draft class for 2014. A lot of great players there, right? 2015, Shameless Winston. You can get him probably because it looks like Tampa Bay's not interested in signing him to a big deal. 30 TD passes this year with 30 interceptions. Think that would have gotten us to a Super Bowl this year? Do you think that would improve our team this year? Marcus Mariota, benched for Ryan Tannehill. Garrett Grayson, I don't even know. Sean Mannion, Bryce Petty, and Brett Hundley. How many of those guys are getting you to the Super Bowl or doing more than what Dak Prescott's doing? How many? 2016, of course, Dak Prescott's draft class. Because, see, Jared Goff was number one. Do you think Jared Goff with his, let me see, Jared Goff with his 22 TDs and 16 interceptions would have gotten us further than Dak Prescott? Do you? Do you? Honestly. Do you? I'm just asking you. Do you believe that we'd be better off with Jared Goff? Carson Wheelchair Wentz. Do you believe that we'd be better off with Carson Wentz? Now, they did beat us the last game, but you know what? Who didn't beat us with our special teams and defense playing the way they did? And you're not finding Carson Wentz in the fourth round. Paxton Lynch, a guy who the Cowboys wanted and tried to trade up to get. Thank God we didn't get that stiff. I believe he's playing this weekend in the XFL. X gonna give it to you, gonna give it to you, X gonna give it to you. That's gonna be our theme song for X football. Christian Hackenberg. Hacken is about the right name for him. Jacoby Brissett. By the way, Jacoby Brissett, who had his first year starting, he's actually getting paid $27 million. Let me say that again. Jacoby Brissett's contract is actually $27 million this year. So when we say offer Dak Prescott a deal for 25, understand Jacoby Brissett is making 27. We got a guy who's been starting for 4 years, has Dallas Cowboys records. And by the way, I forgot about this one. In the first 4 years of their career, I believe there's only now 4 quarterbacks who have over 15,000 yards. I think Drew Brees, Ryan Tannehill, Phillip Rivers, and Dak Prescott. I got to go back and look at that list again, but yeah, he's almost at 16,000 yards in 4 years, which is pretty amazing since he started day one as a rookie. And by the way, understand that Dak Prescott has started a full year longer stretch than any quarterback in the Dallas Cowboys without being injured, without missing a game. Connor Cook. And then Dak Prescott was drafted. 2017, the Chicago Bears traded a king's ransom to move up one spot to take Mitch Trubisky. Now, had they known that Pat Mahomes was going to be Pat Mahomes, I'm sure they would have taken him or Deshaun Watson. But after that, you had Deshaun Kaiser, Davis Webb, and C.G. Beathard. So, let's actually go back here. Looking at this list, how many of these guys are legit quarterbacks on this list? Drafted over the 5 years. Teddy Bridgewater, he'll get a starting gig someplace. Jimmy Garoppolo, that's 2. Jameis Winston will probably be kicked to the curb. You could say he's a legit quarterback. Jared Goff, Carson Wentz, Dak Prescott, Pat Mahomes, and Deshaun Watson. So that's 8 guys over the course of 5 seasons. 8 guys over the course of 5 seasons. So we'll see. Oh, so 2, I don't know what the heck your name is, 2 something or other. Here's the thing. What's amazing about this is you guys are so small-minded and don't look at the big picture here. You are looking at things today. See, I could go back. When I was a kid, I used to walk down to High's Dairy Store, who used to have the best ice cream in the world. Oh my God. Their fudge ripple ice cream was to die for. But I walked down the alley of the shopping center, and I'd go to High's Dairy Store, and I would buy penny candy. Okay? Penny candy. You know, you get a Tootsie Roll for 1 cent. There was some candy that you could get 2 for a penny. Back then, if I thought about a Snickers bar costing $1.29, I would have said, you are crazy to think a candy bar is worth that kind of money. Look, I got me a Tootsie Roll for 1 cent. How are you going to say $1.29 for Snickers? Because we're looking at the price of things today. But understand, right now, his contract is at Tootsie Roll. What's going to happen after the Super Bowl MVP gets his deal done with this new CBA? $40 million is going to be chump change. I don't think you guys understand the gravity of what is going on here. Understand that. See, here's where you guys keep thinking that he's going to be the highest paid. Look at Kirk Cousins' deal right now. When Kirk Cousins became the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, was Kirk Cousins ever the best quarterback in football? Ever? Ever. Yet, because it was his turn, he got $28 million. Not only that, a fully guaranteed contract. And guess what? He plays one more year this year. He can go out there and hit this damn thing again and just go ahead. The teams will back up the truck. Because there's only a certain number of guys who can play quarterback in the NFL. And that is a fact. Uh-oh. Hold up. I just lost my feed here. Oh, hang on. I just lost my comments here. Sorry. I apologize. But understand that there's only a certain number of guys that can do what they do. So you guys are out there saying, we'll just draft another quarterback. You're taking draft capital. And guys that have gone through and traded up to get quarterbacks, there's no guarantee that that guy's going to be legit. Chicago Bears thought they were getting a guy that's legit. But right now they're looking at it and saying, maybe not. Understand, when the Cleveland Browns have drafted quarterback after quarterback, and, you know, we had Faker Mayfield, who looked like he was going to be the real deal. Now you're kind of like, can this guy recover? And maybe he doesn't have the mental aptitude to be able to handle the pressure. And as always, then the Cleveland Browns are looking for another freaking quarterback. But you got a guy who is under the biggest pressure cooker in the world, and in 4 years has done pretty good. And had he had a little bit of help, might have gone all the way. Some of you guys will say, well, if we only had Tom Brady, we would have been a Super Bowl this year. No. You could have brought the offense from New England here with the Dallas Cowboys this year. You're not going any further than you did this year. But if you took the offense from the Dallas Cowboys that we had this year and put it with that defense and special teams that they had, guess what? They're winning the Super Bowl again. The difference is night and day. But see, we all keep thinking that everything is only the quarterback. 43 drop passes. And I know what people will say is, well, you know, sometimes, you know, Dak Prescott, it's not dead center. And this goes back to this whole mentality of some of you people that believe, it's this whole generation that thinks that everything has to be perfect, that the whole world is on me, and if it's not dead on exactly perfect, then you're no good. Did you watch the Super Bowl last night? Pat Mahomes, who was the MVP, who is an incredible quarterback, who may be the best quarterback in the NFL, every pass he threw last night was not perfect. I remember one that was thrown to the ground. I remember some that were thrown behind. I remember some that were thrown late, because that happens. There is no quarterback out there that's perfect. So back to this whole thing of my penny candy. You're looking at money today. Dak Prescott possibly getting $35 million. And people are saying, yeah, you want to pay him $45 million. No, I don't want to pay him $45 million, but fair is fair. If you got Jared Goff getting 33 and a half, Dak Prescott to me is a better quarterback than that guy. Kirk Cousins was never the best guy, but he got paid like he was the best guy because it was his turn. And now 2 years later, $28 million is nothing. And 2 years from now, $36 million is going to be nothing. Because now the CBA that the owners are itching to get the players to sign. If you haven't looked at this or don't understand the language of what's going on with this, there's a lot for both sides. The owners get 17 games. The players get more money today once it's signed on this year's cap, because they're going to change the percentage that the players get, which means the salary cap will go up. 10 years apiece. Substance abuse testing kind of goes down quite a bit. They won't test for weed. The on-the-field fines will go down. So if you're the players, you're looking at this and saying, you know what, now we got more money on this thing. And for those of you out there that are saying, franchise tag him. Yeah, well, how well has that been working out for teams when they've been franchise tagging guys? Le'Veon Bell? How did that situation end? How did the Kirk Cousins situation end for the Redskins? The Redskins that are still trying to find a quarterback. I'm not saying Kirk Cousins was great, but they paid him $45 million for 2 years on a franchise tag, and he left with nothing in their pocket. Had they at least signed him to a long-term contract, they could have at least traded him and gotten something back. If the Dallas Cowboys franchise tag him, I'm the first one to say, Dak, you need to pull a Russell Wilson. You need to give him an ultimatum and say, fine, you want to tag me? If I don't get my deal by the 15th of April, I will never sign a long-term deal with you. You can keep franchise tagging me, but eventually you're going to let me go. That would be my attitude, because he has done everything above and beyond. Wait. Let's back this up. 2 Fuse 520. You don't know what the language was on this thing. What we heard is they also offered him a deal worth of the top 5, and supposedly, and this was before Golf and Wentz got his. It was around $30 million. So, at your job, are you willing? Let's put this into perspective here. Let's put this in perspective. I don't know what your job is. Okay, I'm a construction worker. I'm a carpenter. If we are all working on the same project, having the same job description, okay? We've all been on the job for the same length of time, right? I end up having more production than this guy does, right? The guy next to me, okay? Not only can I frame up the wall and hang the drywall and mud and tape it and everything else, I can also make the custom trim. Well, this guy, he can frame up the wall, he can do the drywall, but he's not a drywall finisher, so he can't mud and tape it. And he can only use pre-bought molding put up. This other guy over here, well, when he frames up the wall, he doesn't get the studs on 16-inch centers. And when he hangs the drywall, sometimes he ends up putting too many holes into it because he can't find the studs. So now we got to go through and we got to spend more time finishing the wall to make it look good. I'm the one that's being able to do more work than the other guys with better skill. So I'm supposed to get paid less than this guy who can't do what I can do. or this guy who's creating more work for the team? Because that's what you're actually saying to Dak. Well, you should be listen, Mark, you should be satisfied with $30 an hour. Don't worry about this guy getting 35 or this guy getting 36, even though you're doing more than him. How would you feel if you're at that job working, knowing that these guys are making more money and doing less? You wouldn't be happy about that, would you? You wouldn't say, well, I'm just happy to have a job. You know, I got my part-time job that you know, where I'm a bartender, and I make up for the money I don't make on this one. Because that's what you guys are saying that Dak Prescott should do. Well, he's making money on his, you know, doing commercial endorsements. So he should be taking chump change at his day job. Would you do that? And if you honestly say, yeah, I'd be happy to do that, then by all means, you have the right to tell Dak how to do his job. But if I'm Dak Prescott, and after giving you 4 years, and make no mistake about it, because you got Dak Prescott in the 4th round, it enabled you to get out from under Tony Romo's contract and Des Bryant's, where when he started, we were $25 million in the red. Now you have $87 million before the new collective bargaining agreement. The reason being is because Dak didn't get paid about $40 million over those years. So take a discount. He's already taken it for the team. So I've been kind of going through Michael Anthony Fitness reactions, Dak the future quarterback. What should the price range? Oh, look, in my mind, listen, I'm not saying $40 million. Although, if the salary cap goes up by 25, and here's the thing that's ridiculous, because anybody who says, well, franchise tag and make it proof for another year, well, guess what? You're paying then a hard number that may end up being about 35 if Sean Watson and Mahomes get their deal done. Pat Mahomes is going to be over $40 million. So it's the average of the top 5 is the exclusive tag number. If he gets his and Deshaun Watson gets his and say it's 38, now all of a sudden it's about $34-35 million for Dak Prescott's franchise tag, which will be a hard number. You can't, prorate it and signing bonus and make that number smaller. Russell Wilson's number was only 25 last year because of the signing bonus and things, even though he was paid 35. And then you got to turn around next year and either pay him 120% of what he got this year, which will be in the 40s, or you get a long-term deal. But now you're looking at other guys who get paid. Right now, Tom Brady's he wants a minimum of 30. You got 16 quarterbacks that are over 25. So the longer this takes, the more it's going to cost. And I said this last year. I said, Dallas Cowboys, get Dak's deal done before Russell Wilson. I said, because the longer you wait, this clock is ticking, and the price keeps ticking up higher and higher and higher. It behooves the Dallas Cowboys to hit this thing hard right now, today. Get it done, get it out of the way. Get your quarterback happy, focused on the field, and stop having bad feelings. Mahomes played terrible. What's funny, Akeem? You're saying that Mahomes played terrible. Stop bringing up Mahomes. He's not Mahomes, less than 32. So let's change. Screw you, Shane. Why should Dak Prescott take less than Jared Goff? You explain to no, seriously. I want you to answer. Why should Dak Prescott take less than Jared Goff? It's a simple question. Give it to me. Explain to me your reasons why Dak Prescott should take less than Jared Goff when Dak Prescott's numbers are far and away better than what Jared Goff's ever done.
Marketing power over there is so. But I really am glad that day. So right now, power financial.
Kirk Cousins got paid telling me he was better than Dak. That's what I'm saying. Kirk Cousins got paid. And here's the thing. You sign Dak Prescott tomorrow for $36 million, hypothetically. Let's say you sign him $36 million tomorrow. You know what that's going to look like 2 years from now? It's going to look like Kirk Cousins' deal does right now. Because the money is going up. And the thing that's crazy to me is you guys keep acting like paying Dak Prescott is going to screw the team over. It's not going to screw the team over. They got enough money to sign anybody that they want to sign and get these things done. Flat out. It's just a matter of how motivated they want to be. You know, if they needed money, they can get $10 million tomorrow just by signing a pen and kicking a trigger with Zach Martin's deal. Just like that. It's not a matter of they can't afford to. It's a matter of them wanting to do it. And what's going to happen is, what always happens with the Dallas Cowboys is this shit has to get ugly. And the player has to go ahead and have, I'm not getting my shoulder worked on. I'm not showing up for training camp. Instead of the Dallas Cowboys doing the right thing. And this, my friends, is why our ass is not in the Super Bowl year after year because of stupid shit that has been done by the Dallas Cowboys. And doing this stuff of, we're trying to save money and you don't save money. You tell me, what did the whole DeMarcus Lawrence deal do for us? Waiting to get that thing done. It wasn't like they got him lowballed. Did he end up taking less money than what he wanted? He got exactly what he wanted money-wise. And you know what the Cowboys did? They hurt themselves. Zeke Elliott. They knew Zeke Elliott wanted to get paid. And Zeke got exactly what he wanted in the end. But in the end, what did the Cowboys get? They got a running back who wasn't there in training camp, who wasn't in shape when he got here. He wasn't in football shape. And that hurt the Dallas Cowboys. And guess what? He got exactly what he wanted. So why is it that you guys want to say, let's do that, let's follow that same mold for a guy who's been a stand-up guy for your team, a guy who's not out there talking about being the hot boys. He's out there trying to be a hot boy. He's out there every day thinking about, how can I be a better football player? And this makes me sick when I hear all you jackasses out there just talking like he's a nobody. People out there say, Jimmy Garoppolo, he's a better quarterback. Well, let's pull up Jimmy. Here's what I'm going to do. Let me pull up Jimmy Garoppolo's stats. Let me just pull this up because, see, like I said, I'm sorry I haven't been looking at the chats a whole lot here. I'm just fired up tonight, man. I'm just sick and tired. So, I'm looking at Jimmy Garoppolo's stats for this year. Mr. Antoine, yeah, he went to the Super Bowl with a great running back. And he pissed down his leg. Because you know that guy, I remember being at that Super Bowl last year where he had two wide receivers wide the F open, and he was so late throwing the passes that they would have been game-winning ones, but he pissed down his leg. You take a look at what that guy has done this year. Let me go back to this Antoine. I'm telling you, I'm spitting nothing. Don't take this personal. This is business tonight, okay? So I'm not trying to be an ass. But Jared Goff, 22 TDs, 16 interceptions. And since the time of him being in the Super Bowl where he pissed down his leg, he literally pissed down his leg, has done nothing. Without Todd Gurley and all this thing, well, Dak Prescott, he needs guys around him. With Todd Gurley not being the guy he was, you see what happened to that offense, don't you? So I'm looking at Jimmy G's numbers. His best game was against the Arizona Cardinals with 424 yards. And on the season, he had one other game over 300. 317 yards against the same Arizona Cardinals. Other than that, he's got games of 131 yards, 285, 248, 200, 165, 253, 175, 151, 243, 181 yards. 27 TDs and 13 interceptions. But see, here's the perception. Everybody says, oh, Jimmy Garoppolo, he's a better quarterback than Dak Prescott. Is he? Is he? He had a great defense. Maybe one of the best defenses in football. That helps. They took the ball away and gave it to him. And they had a great running attack. And he got a great tight end. Pulling up stats. If you look at most teams that win, oh damn, hold up. We hadn't lost the signal on our camera. Oh no. Okay, had to go to the backup camera here. I think my camera finally said, "We done with you. We done with you." Have to use the close-up, intimate camera here. To look at the season this year and not say that the defense is partly to blame for being 8-8 is very short-sighted. Do you honestly believe that this defense did anything to help the Dallas Cowboys? If you took our defense and put it with New England, do you think New England would have made 8-8? Do you honestly believe that? You look at what our special teams did with our kicker not being able to kick field goals, that we would have been 8-8 if we'd had a decent kicking game. If we weren't starting the ball on our 15-yard line on a regular. DJ Raw and Cut, I've been saying for a long time that we should have paid Dak over Zeke. Thank you. Because, and not only because Dak deserves to be paid, you still have 2 more years left on Zeke Elliott. And if there's anybody you don't pay, it's the running back. The Rams right now are screwed. The Rams, when you look at this right now, because they paid Gurley and because they traded short-sightedly all their first-round picks, they don't have draft picks and they don't have cash. And their running back is literally a shell of himself. The Cowboys aren't in that situation. And for those who say we should just move on from Dak and start all over, here's the thing. You got an offensive line that's still really good. But you don't know how much time is left with that team. You know, Tyron Smith is missing 3 or 4 games every year. You got a running back. How many years do you think that Zeke Elliott is going to be able to play at an elite level? Because running backs, sorry, they just don't. They don't last. So you got to look at this and say, we probably have 2 really good years. And after that, he'll probably start going downhill, if not sooner. Because we've seen a lot of great running backs who, you know, say, oh my God, this guy's incredible. And all of a sudden they drop off a cliff.
Oh my God, please watch the trailer.
You got a good young receiving core. And you got a defense that should be able to be better. Now, if you look at Vegas odds, I think the Cowboys right now are the 5th best odds for making the Super Bowl. And I think with the advent of changes in coaching, if you don't believe that the Dallas Cowboys have been handicapped by Jason Garrett, then you don't understand much about football. The Dallas Cowboys have literally lived as the same Dallas Cowboys of the 90s without having the same amount of talent. In the 90s, things could be very simplistic because you had the best of the best. Not only starters, but even the backups were beasts. You had, you know, everybody will say, well, Troy Aikman, you know, Dak Prescott's no Troy Aikman. But you know what? Troy Aikman was Troy Aikman for a couple of reasons beyond just his own skill level. Because he had a Michael Irvin who was a playmaker, who wasn't dropping passes, who was talking smack and backing it up. He also had an offensive line that was opening up truck lanes. Thomas Garrett, I agree, his contract should have been done a long time ago. But understand, they were opening up truck lanes for Emmitt Smith to run through. And on that, you had a great tight end, Jay Novacek. But even beyond that, you had a defense that was number one, that took the ball away from others and didn't allow teams to score. We have not had that. You don't look at the Dallas Cowboys and say you've got head and shoulders above and beyond everybody else right now at the offensive line. Yeah, that's opening up holes that a tractor trailer could drive through. You don't have a defense that is stopping anybody. You gave up, for Christ's sake, 4.6 yards up the middle every time. It's a disgrace. You had a kicker who couldn't kick inside the 50. It's a disgrace. You had special teams that couldn't give you good field position. That's a disgrace. It goes beyond what your quarterback did. Dak Prescott was one of the bright spots, believe it or not, for this team. And I don't care who you brought in. If there's no quarterback out there that's in the NFL today that would have gotten that team, just trading straight up quarterback for quarterback, would have gotten us to the Super Bowl. And if you believe that there is, then you are probably the dumbest person on the earth. Sorry, but that's literally what it is. Tag or trade. You can't trade somebody who's not under. See, this is where some people, I'm sorry, I don't mean to insult your intelligence, okay? I don't mean to insult your intelligence, but if you're going to make comments about football, understanding you can't do tag or trade, because you can only trade somebody who's under a contract. You understand? There is no contract for Dak Prescott right now. Dak Prescott is a free agent. The only way you can keep his rights are one of two things. Franchise tag him or transition tag, in which case you have his rights for one more year and you will pay him the average of the top 5 in salary. Or 2, sign him to a long-term deal. In which case, if you have him under contract, you can trade him. Okay? So get educated on what's going on as far as football goes. Understand what you're talking about. Trade Dak for a sub sandwich. Okay. Dak can walk. Okay, so Art, you let Dak walk. Who's playing quarterback for you next year? Real question. Real question. Who are you getting for quarterback? I'll wait. Art, thanks for being a member, by the way. And by the way, here's what we're going to do. Check this out. I got some Super Bowl shot glasses. And what I'm going to do is, the boxes I have are big enough to put 2 shot glasses in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to box up the members' glasses that I'm sending out, and I'm going to stick a couple of these in some of those boxes and just mix up all the boxes. And so as I go and ship those out, some of you guys who become members will not only get your Joe Boo shot glass right there, you'll get one that came from Miami at the Super Bowl as well. So shout out to all those people who have become members of the Joe Boo Sports Report. I appreciate all that you guys have done to help the channel. And let's go ahead and do this for all my peoples. thank you guys, man, for all you guys do,
My friend's sponsor.
supporting the channel and everything else. Channel members, I got my new shot glasses, got back in while I was gone. And so if you hadn't received your shot glass for becoming a channel member, not a subscriber, a channel member, make sure you email me. And if I missed you, it wasn't intentional. It wasn't intentional. I've been down here in Miami working hard. It's been hard work down here. And I will get those out when I get back. And also, too, the shot glass racks. I believe there's about 8 of those that we have to get done. I got to get some more cherry, but we'll have those done by the weekend and out and on your way. Because I think 2 of them are going to Hawaii. 2 all the way to Hawaii. And guess what? One of these shot glasses are going to the land down under. I just hope they don't put any. Just hope they don't put any Vegemite in it or anything like that. Ooh, so to you guys. Okay. So Dak will walk if Jerry. You know what? See, here's my thing. Back to that whole scenario about your job. If you know that you're making less than everybody else and you can make more money elsewhere, do you go ahead and just say, I'll just stay here and I'll just take it? At some point, you finally have to say enough is enough. And if I'm Dak Prescott, I don't want to be an ass, but I got to start looking at it and saying that I'm not going to take it anymore. I'm going to have to stand up for myself. Even if it hurts everybody else, I don't have to be the bad guy here. It's not my fault. I have waited. And if it turns around that guys that haven't been in the league as long as I have are getting paid and I'm still not, at some point, as Michael Anthony says, you got to punch the subscribe button. I got to punch and stand up for myself, because who else is going to stand up for me if they don't? So I'm just sick and tired of all of this hate for this guy. I understand. I could see if he was just a bust, if this was a guy who never won a single game, that was throwing every pass to the ground. But as I look at these comments from people, I don't understand where they all come from, because if you actually watch other quarterbacks out there, even if it's Drew Brees, sometimes Drew Brees is late on delivery. Sometimes Drew Brees has interceptions. Dak is like every other quarterback out there. He's not perfect, but he's damn good and a hell of a competitor. So we're running out of time here. My wife and Michelle leaves tomorrow morning first thing, so I want to make sure we spend some time with her and debrief on everything that was here at the Super Bowl. But I got to tell you, we got all kinds of stuff, going on. If you are missing football already, don't worry. We're going to take care of you, because Joe Boo Sports Report, we're going to be right here all off season. We're going to start out on Saturday. Look, Super Bowl was yesterday. But come Saturday, Michael Anthony Fitness, E2 Blue, maybe Jack D will be in the house. And if you guys are interested, in doing a meetup at it's the soccer stadium in D.C., seats 20,000 people. I think the tickets are only like $20-25 for the game. We're going to be there Saturday. So come on through. We're going to cover it. We're going to see if X going to give it to you. Going to give it to you. X going to give it to you. Going to give it to you. We're going to see, is it legitimately football? Is it something worth watching? Is it something to help pass us through until all hell breaks loose, which will be March 10th, when the franchise tags are due. So as always, friends, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. You ain't got to go home, but we got to turn out the lights, because this party's over.
The party's over. They say that all good things must end. Call it a night. The party's over. And tomorrow and next year starts the same old thing again.